Happy Honey Wash Day. This is Toksa Hour. I am Maggie Ross, and I am live from Porcupine, South Dakota, along the Porcupine Creek where the porcupines roam. I'm trying to adjust the light. See the big circles on the eyes? Unless I just go like that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Just do it without the vision. Yeah. Anyways, I apologize. I was having some technical difficulties logging in and whatnot. So made it. Sorry, I'm late. Marks on my nose. Did you notice? I'm using my Toksa Hour cup. And I am planning to get those things in the mail this week, people. So you should be getting your Toksa Hour cup within whatever the shipping time is. Monday or Tuesday, I should be able to get them in. I just got to figure it out. I got to either just go to Rapid or figure out, because I think if I mail them out on Monday, then what happens? I think it goes out the next day, something like that. It doesn't go out the same day. But if I go to Rapid, they'll go out the same day. We'll see. We'll see what I will do, but they will be in the mail. Excited. So we have a pretty good conversation, I think, going on this week or today. There's been some stuff going on in Minnesota. So I wanted to talk about that. So we know, I just didn't even get enough coffee either. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I did not get enough coffee. And this is like, I probably need to order us all these great big coffee cups that are like this. You could drink coffee. Get it together. Get it together. Because I struggle. I struggle sometimes. You know, I've been under a lot of like stress, and I think the past couple of days I've just slept. I mean, I cleaned house and stuff, but I just slept. I went to bed every night, I think about 8:30, and I just sleep. And it really feels good. Like this morning, I thought I could sleep for another hour or two. Like my body's just maybe tired or trying to recover or something, but that's what's been going on. So excuse me. So there's some things going on in Minnesota. I'm sure you guys have heard. I'm sure you have heard. I watched like just kind of, even like with Renee Good, I watched all the different angles and views that people took. And, you know, I'm really glad. I am really glad that people are recording. A lot of times we'd get mad, right? Like we'd be saying, put that camera down and do something, help them. Saying something like that. But it's really good everybody's recording, because that gives all these different points of view to what has happened. And so like with with excuse me, in my throat. So with Kristi Noem and Donald Trump and the ICE people, you know, they're all trying to make Renee Good sound like the terrorist and the aggressor. But then it comes out that that guy actually, I mean, you could see him, like he has a phone in his hand because he's recording too, and he later releases that. But you can see, you know, where she's still in reverse mode when he pulls his gun on her. So he has his camera on this hand, and then he switches to this hand, and then he grabs for his gun. And so you see that. And then you also see where he kind of leans in on her, and then he shoots her as she's turning and going that way. And then when she escalates, it's because that's kind of what happens when like when you die, like everything just goes through like that, goes stiff. And then they said that she was still kind of alive. She was still breathing for 8 minutes after that had happened, but they didn't let anybody happen to help her. So we saw that. All kinds of points of view, all kinds of angles. So it just blew their narrative, right? And then yesterday morning, this is like all over too. Alex Preddy was murdered by ICE. And Alex Preddy, he was a 37-year-old ICU nurse. And he was a opposition to ICE enforcement, but he was an ICU nurse at the VA. So he is not the violent man that they're saying he is, because that's what they have to do. And if you think anything of this and have been paying attention to what's going on in Palestine and in Gaza, and like how they justify, how the horrible, evil people justify their actions. It's disgusting. It's disgusting what they do. I meant to share this out, so I'm kind of not all there. I gotta share this too. So, all right. So then, the same thing for this Alex Preddy. So Alex Preddy, is this ICU nurse, and then you see in the film, you are in all of the recordings, like there's this lady that is recording and she's blowing her whistle, and they attack her. They like push her down, and this other lady comes to help, and so this Alex Preddy goes over there to help them and get them off the road, kind of get them into safety. ICE agents then come and pepper spray him and the two ladies, and then he's still trying to, you can see, like he's still trying to like save, provide safety to them. And then what happens is they take him down. And then they beat him up. They're beating him up, and then they kill him. And you see one of those ICE agents, he's coming away with the gun. So again, there's multiple views of this. So when they're trying to say that he pulled his gun and threatened them or whatever, he is face planted into the ground with his hands down. So you see that. And then it wasn't just like one shot. It was like, I think they counted 11. There's 11 shots that were fired into him. And they killed him. And then you see after where they're trying to look for the gun. Where's the gun? They're saying. They roll him over. Where's the gun? And the guy says, I need a scissors. I need the scissors or whatever. So whatever you needed the scissors for, I don't know. But as I was saying, the one thing that if we were paying attention to Netanyahu, Satanyahu, Shitnyahu, if we were paying attention to him, we would know that the art of lying the art of propaganda, the art of deceiving, the art of gaslighting. Because you see it with your very own eyes. And the Palestinian people, that's what they did. They were in Gaza recording everything. So we all got to live stream with them their genocide. So we got to see that. And so I'm really glad that the Minnesota people are doing that as well. Because then now you have multiple points of view of terrorism happening to American citizens now. We watched them do it to the Palestinian people. And now we're watching them do it to us. And it's crazy because IDF soldiers are also employed by ICE, because people don't realize that American people, US citizens, are also dual citizens, and they are citizens of Israel. And so they have to go fight for Israel. And in the past 3 years, we have been given enough evidence to provide us or to prove to us that Israel runs and controls the United States. And I was watching an ex-CIA agent, and he's talking about what Israel has done for the past decades, where they would they want to bomb Iran. And so every time every new president comes, they say we want you to bomb Iran, and they get told no. So George W. Bush tells them no. And then they talk about Barack Obama, and Barack Obama ends up doing a peace treaty or whatever that Netanyahu didn't support. And then he got Trump to do away with the Iran nuclear agreement. He got Trump to do that the first term, and then Biden came back and went back to working on the peace plan, supposedly, but he still let them annihilate and genocide the Palestinian people. And then this time they're saying that what he has done, what Netanyahu has done, is he has told Trump that if you do not bomb Iran, I will use nuclear weapons. And so what this CIA agent is saying is that because of that, then he goes to say in his mental mind, Trump says, I am saving the world. So he frames it as saving the world in his justification of bombing Iran. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. And it's very unfortunate. And so we see it here. So what has happened to the Palestinian people? Like the test of humanity is over. And we failed it. The world has failed the test of humanity. We could not even get our leaders to stop doing what they're doing. And so here now we have the government coming on against its own people, the US citizens, and just breaking the laws, violating the Constitution, but who holds them accountable? Just the other day, the Congress, with votes from the Democratic Party, passed the funding for ICE, increasing their funding. Why does ICE need so much money? Why do they need so much money? And then you can see all their propaganda ads. So they're targeting. So they do this geolocation, geomapping. So they see like where there's MAGA hats, people, where they're at in community, and then where they're at online. And then they target their ads to them to make America safe again. And so to recruit them. So I think it's like you can get a $50,000 sign-on bonus, and then you can get up to $60,000 of your student loan paid, is what I understand. But that's what they're doing. And it's pretty alarming. It's pretty alarming that this is happening. And we're not even in a place, right? Like we're not even a place to say, hey, I mean, we're trying to say, stop doing this. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. It happened in Chicago. It happened in Portland. It happened in California. All of this, one Democratic city at a time is what they're doing. And then the MAGA hats support it. They scream, yes, do it more. And then even how they just are so blind to listen to what Donald Trump or Kristi Noem is saying. So they then get on the propaganda machine and then start spreading propaganda, supporting the lie, adding, look at what I have here. These little suckers are just terrorizing me this morning. I have two. They're just running all over, little terrorists themselves. Anyways, that one was climbing up my leg. Oh my God. And then it went to my kafia. You would leave me alone. So I was thinking about it, like I was thinking about being, again, I was thinking about how do we engage? Like, how are we supposed to engage with people who are not afraid to just shoot people? And then they ask us, be peaceful. Be peaceful. That's what Governor Walz is saying. That's what every governor has said. Be peaceful. Do not fight back. Be peaceful. And then they're just shooting people in the face and in the back and beating the crap out of them and stealing them. They stole a 5-year-old. They stole a little 5-year-old boy and sent him to Texas. And we're supposed to be peaceful. And this is like kind of something I've been thinking about. My Dakota ancestors. So my Dakota ancestors, they relied on their leaders. Like that's how we are, we rely on our leaders, to help us to speak for us. And so way back when, the Dakota leaders, the band leaders, went to Washington and they gave away, or they signed away, they made a treaty in regards to the Mississippi River Valley, ceding that, pushing all the Dakota into Minnesota, the Minneapolis area. And the people were really upset about that, very upset. And so what they ended up doing was kind of disowning their leaders, their Dakota leaders. They end up disown, and they elect a different person to speak for them. And the person that they want to speak for them was, his name was Hihanduta. And Hihanduta didn't come from like some, like around here, like everyone's like, I'm a red cloud, or I'm a bull bear, or I come from the smoke family, or, like that. Well, he came from a smaller band. And so he became the speaker, Hihanduta. And it was unfortunate that so the uprising happened in October, and he ended up getting, I believe at that time it was TB, tuberculosis, and he dies from that. And so then the uprising happens, and so then so all of this, like they're already going through starvation, they're already being harassed, they're already being mistreated, they're already all of these things, and nobody's taking up for them, nobody's speaking on their behalf. It's just like they're subjected to the harassment and bullshit from the U.S. Cavalry. And all Abraham Lincoln was doing and everybody before them was just putting their own people into power to enforce whatever they thought needed to be enforced. So if they wanted to continue with land theft, then that's what they did. If they believed that the Dakota people or the indigenous people of this continent did not deserve to live, and they wanted to continue murdering them and genociding them, then that's what they did. Starvation. And so people would say, like, Abraham Lincoln is the greatest president in the history of the United States or whatever, he freed the slaves. He didn't free no slaves because slavery still exists. It just changed its face. And he was a part of, like, he could have went through all of that and he could have been, but it was all politics. So in order to justify for the Minnesota settlers to justify their acts, he still hung people. So the things that government does to people, we weren't, my ancestors weren't citizens then. We didn't become citizens until 1928 or 24, something, 26, one of those numbers. But we didn't become citizens yet. And so even being a citizen, we are placed on reservations and then we are still starved. We are still put into difficult situations. We are. We don't have, like I was talking to one of my council representatives, not in my district, but one that sits on the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council, and I was visiting with him. And he was talking about how hard it is to try to get the economic development going here because you can't get anybody to invest. And I said, you don't need people. I was telling him, you don't need people to invest. What the tribe needs to do is change how we use our land and allow us to build on our own lands, or the tribe should create enterprise itself, because there is just a Supreme Court ruling that says that the tribal government itself does not have to pay income tax. So the tribal government then can create all the business and everybody just working for the tribal enterprise. And then the tribe doesn't have to pay the income tax for their business. We would still, as individuals, until we can fight that case, would pay the income tax, or put some kind of stipulation out there that protects people as individual owners of business. I was also telling them that they should change the ordinance of marijuana, because there's so many of this failure in the marijuana industry right now that the tribal government should take control of that and change it so that the tribe is the sole operator. That way you can control, just doing exactly like how flange is, you control how it's grown and you control how it's sold. So then that changes, like, you have so many of these marijuana operators on the reservation who import their marijuana, and that's illegal. That violates the law. I mean, the tribal police are catching them all the time, arresting people that are importing marijuana because they're not growing it. And if someone's growing it, I think there's only two. Dean Still, I think, is the only one on the reservation that's actually, well, he has two growing houses. I don't know if he's actually growing yet, but he has two growing houses. But that's what the tribe should do. The tribe should just say, well, it didn't work that way. And so in order for us to be viable and successful as people, this is what we need to do. We need to take that, and then they can also look at medicinal marijuana and make sure that they're growing and it's done properly. Will they do that? Probably not, because that sounds just too easy. But those are things. So when we think about how we're treated as people, as human beings, and this is this is so crazy. I know too much. I keep saying this. I know too much about this now. So when you think about what has happened in the history of the white man and how they have tried to rule the world, because they are. And I still got to go back and try to find more information on this ancient Iranian bloodline and like how all of that is tied in. I still have to do that because I'm very intrigued by that. So I need to find time. I need to find time to become a researcher again because I love research and I love learning new things. But anyways, so when we think about like what is going on today, so even in the past, what was going on, who was doing that? Who was responsible? Was it connected to this Iranian ancient bloodline? Is it connected to this group of people who have been trying to, like control and rule the world? This new world order doing that? Because if you look at it, I'm kind of willing to be open to the conversation because you look at who is ruling the world. And then people want to say, oh, that's anti-Semitism. That's anti-Semitism. Is it? I don't know. I need more coffee, people. So, when we think about what's going on in Minnesota, Minnesota has, that historic uprising. And so I was looking at that and thinking about the resistance of that time and the resistance of today. So are we leading towards like a Minnesota uprising too? Like, are we leading to something like that where this ICE people and are just taking it out on every human being in Minnesota this time? It's like unless you're probably MAGA, there's no protection for anybody. I mean, even back in my ancestors' times, they tried to comply, they tried to negotiate, compromise, they tried to do all of that. Just like Governor Walz and the mayor of Minneapolis, trying to tell people that, be calm, don't be violent. That's gonna run out. And we all know that that's what Donald Trump wants. He wants it to run out. He wants resistance and he wants a fight so that he can bring in the military, which is really amazing. Yesterday, Governor Walz brought in the National Guard to protect the people. And so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like we just continue to repeat history. We repeat history. Because even like in think about my Dakota ancestors and even our Lakota ancestors, it wasn't just like, let's go fight, let's just go take it was always first, like you're trying to figure it out. You, like we have Wo Lakota or Wo Dakota, that kind of guides us to be a good relative, to be peaceful. We understand the consequence of war. Um, we know that. So when we think about, well, what do we do or how do we do this or what do we do? Like I think the first the first thing that we can do one is to get behind candidates. Yesterday, I listened to Jasmine Crockett, and she was up against. I can't remember. I have to Google who her opponent is. Dan's running. Okay, so it is James Tellerico, and then there's Jasmine Crockett. And so I listened to them, and I don't support Jasmine Crockett. I mean, they asked a Israel question in there, and she didn't come out really saying anything. But Tellerico does. I mean, his whole campaign is talking about how horrible Gaza, what they did to Gaza and the children. Like he did a really good job of kind of sinking that. And so people of color might look at it and say, well, she's a black woman and she, whatever. And if you don't vote for her, then you're racist or something. Well, we got to get beyond that. Like we got to get beyond that. And we got to look at our morality. And we got to ask those questions. So when candidates are coming around, we got to ask about Israel and Palestine. Because if we can't stop it there, it's not going to stop here. Because you have to understand like the deep rootedness of how this is happening, how they control us, how they control our government, and how that's in Palestine or in Gaza, they have cameras, they have drones, they have all of that spying on people every day, watching them, tracking them, geo mapping, all of that starts there in Palestine. That's what Israel does to the Palestinian people. They know their movement. They know everything about them. They can do whatever they want, and they sell that as a marketing tool. So the Palestinian people are guinea pigs to corporate America or corporate world, to capitalists. And so we have to stop that because they're turning that. And so you look at like, we got to get money out of politics because those guys are sinking big bucks into our elections. And they are voting for Donald Trump like he got a lot of money. JD Vance got a lot of money. So Palantir coming into the scene, well, they're big in Israel. They're leading technology over there in Israel doing this, and now they're going to do it to us. Yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, yesterday it was, I went to go log on to TikTok. And when I logged on to TikTok, it said, updates to our terms of service and privacy policies. And so you have to agree to it. And one of the things in that agreement is geo tracking. And they have, it's been reported out that TikTok, because it's under new ownership of this Ellison guy, who is a Trump supporter and he actually funds the IDF in Israel. He gives millions of dollars to fund the IDF in Israel. This guy, he is who is running TikTok now. And they're going to track us. So they're looking for not only immigrants, what they suspect immigrants, but they're also looking for people who may have spoken out against Israel or commenting or posting or whatever, people that are pro-Palestinian, people who are against Trump. And so they're going to track you through that. So I haven't accepted it. I'm actually today going to delete my Toksa Hour, but not my Toksa Hour, my TikTok, because I need to deactivate. But I finally figured out how to do it. I think I did. So because you have to accept the term in order to get into deactivate. And once you accept those terms, they're going to take all your stuff. So anyways, so that's what I'm working on doing, is just getting out. I don't want to accept their terms and getting out. And so people need to know Facebook is doing this as well. So if you're in Facebook world, you need to be aware of that. Even if we say that we don't want to share our location, we don't want to share these things from our phone, it's within their text of their terms of service that it gives that. And so we need to know. You need to know. And then you have to make some decisions. And it's only the United States, so it isn't. I don't think that's you, Raymond. Raymond is not in the United States. So I have moved to upscrolled. I've done that. And then I've also a while back moved to what is it called? Substack. So I write in Substack, and I also share like Toksa Hour stuff in Substack. And then I also created a Blue Sky account. I'm not real active in Blue Sky because I don't know anybody over there. But Upscroll, I'm finding some of my people that were on TikTok. Like people are just leaving TikTok. So those are things that we need to know and we should be concerned about, and you need to know. So, and you also you should share it. You should share that information with other people, because sometimes our kids don't know and they don't understand. And then our kids are people of color, you know. Well, and then it doesn't even matter if you're people of color, because so far in Minnesota, ICE has killed a white woman and then they killed a white man. I shot them both dead. So it may not matter the color of your skin. It may matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I don't know, but it's insane. I think we have to apply pressure to Mike Rounds. He wants to run for re-election. We should figure out who his counter is, and then what their position is on Israel. And we should be asking these things on the campaign trail. We should. You should. I know I do. I call all the time. I don't know if they have me on a list yet. I probably have. Because, you know, as Lakota people, we say we all have once we're born, they create us a FBI file. So there's that. The other thing that I think we need to, know is they have not yet identified the 3 Lakota men that were not released. They still have not identified them. They still have not located them. I listened to Summit Tribal Council yesterday for the Oglala Sioux tribe, and not yesterday, but Friday. Is it Friday? Anyways, they're one that they just had, and they have passed a resolution to say they will not work with the state of South Dakota with ICE. They won't do any training with them. And then once that passed, it was unanimous. And then the next one was to ban ICE from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. And that passed. My understanding is Cheyenne River, I didn't get to go look at their council meeting, but Cheyenne River has also done the same things. Rosebud, I saw a screenshot coming out of Facebook saying that the Rosebud Sioux tribe, let me see if I could pull that up. Says the Rosebud Sioux tribe has signed on a contract with state of South Dakota and Kristi Noem. All Rosebud police forces to be trained in Pierre under Kristi Noem training. As quiet as it is, our tribe wanted money, and before any riots happened in rebellion, Rosebud Sioux tribe already signed for our police force to work with the state of South Dakota and Kristi Noem staff police trainers for money. So that was posted on Facebook by a guy that's enrolled with the Rosebud Sioux tribe. I don't know what that means. It could mean two things, because like the Oglala tribe, we do have a police training compact where we can send the police officers to the police academy in the state of South Dakota to become certified. Because what's the one called down there in New Mexico? Anyways, that place oftentimes fills up and they don't have room or whatever, so I know the state of the Oglala tribe has an agreement along that line for police officer training. I don't know if that's what Rosebud is doing. And also Kristi Noem works for Donald Trump now. She's not the governor. So if Rosebud had done something like that, it would be with the now current governor. Whatever the heck his name is now, I'm gonna forget. Rodent? Yeah, because I think people call him Rodent. So him, Governor Rodent. And I do want to say this too. Last week we went to I went to Pierre to listen to the Rosebud Sioux tribal president talk. And I did get to see some Oglala Sioux tribal council people there. And I did get to visit. And they had talked, one of them had told me that they had visited with the governor, and they told him that they totally disagree with this. And then they put him on notice too that they'll ban him. They'll ban him from the Pioneer Indian Reservation too, because they're just not gonna mess around with the safety of the people. And so you can hear that in that council meeting as well. I mean, they're not talking about the conversation with Governor Rodin, but they're talking about the safety of the people. So they're going to send some tribal enrollment people to Denver to issue out tribal IDs. And then they're going to Sioux Falls, I believe, to issue out tribal IDs. And then just being aware. And so I don't know. I think people, if anything, if the tribes are going to banish, you guys should should come back to the tribe. Like people should get I don't know. It just seems Artesia, yeah. Artesia. Steve, it's Artesia. So I mean there's some big concerns. And the people that they took in Minneapolis were homeless. And we have a large homeless group of people in Rapid City and in Sioux Falls. And we also are banning people from the reservation. I think that they should be maybe, if somebody is doing that, you should incarcerate them. And then you should be building rehabilitation centers and doing that. I don't know, times are changing, but of course too, a lot of times you can't fix people. A lot of times you can't. And so I don't know, but we're going to be facing some difficult times if this does not stop. And I've expressed to our leaders on council that it takes them. They're the ones that have to speak up. President Starr comes out, has to speak up. Vice President Musso has to speak up. Our district presidents, all of them have to speak up. Like in Porcupine, we have Todd O'Brien. Todd O'Brien needs to be speaking out against this, about what's going on and making sure that we are safe in our district. And he better get in line with supporting the tribal government. But there's a lot of things going on. And I think the other thing about it is that we have to start getting our families in order. We cannot be in civil war ourselves. We need to knock our shit off in our communities. That's what we need to do. People need to get after their kids. People need to get after their relatives. And we need to, because we got to get along. we can't make good decisions if all we're doing is doing drugs on the reservation and drinking alcohol and causing problems. So I don't know, probably get in trouble for saying that. I don't know. Unfortunate times for sure. Unfortunate times. Oh, excuse me. My cup of coffee is given out, or running out, I should say. See, running. Need more coffee. Need more coffee. Gotta get more coffee. Yeah, so that's kind of Maggie being on this radical kick this morning, thinking about ourselves and, what do we do? How do we protect ourselves and how do we get along? It's like we can't go anywhere. That's another thing that they're doing, right? They're um checking passports and like if they're running your passport against anything that you posted on social media. And if you appear to be a threat, then you can't travel. It's crazy. And then if you travel, you can't travel. And this is the other thing is our phones hold a bunch of information. And so we have to figure out how are we going to address that. Like you need to take off if you're using face recognition, you need to get rid of your face recognition. If you're using your fingerprints, you need to do that. And you just need to be pushing in a code. That's what needs to happen. Because um that's what they're doing is they're taking all your data off your phone. And then if you're going to a protest, they're telling you to leave your phone home. Go with a what do you call it? Like a fake phone or a stash phone or whatever, because they're taking all your information. They're also doing this thing where they drive around your block. They drive around your block, and everybody that's in that block, they're able to steal your data. If you're on, if you're on your phone or your phone is awake or what, they're able to pull your data. And then they're able to track you, see where you go, map you out. And so there's a lot of things going on, and I really contemplate even my phone. Or you have to there's some kind of bag you could put your phone in and you can seal it, and then they can't track you. But you can't get caught with that bag because then they can pull it out and then get your information. Unless you're using an iPhone, um, iPhone won't give up your information or won't give out your let them in. But they might, because they're all connected. These guys are all connected. And we're in trouble, people, because we like the convenience of technology. We're in trouble. It's hard. Very hard. Burner phone. Yeah, that's what it's called, Steve. Burner phone. Yeah, it goes back to that. Two Indians can't be collaborating. If there's two Indians or three Indians walking together, it's okay to shoot them. Yeah, that's still a law. Rabbit or in spearfish or somewhere. That's still an active law. Like they didn't even repeal the law. Ichesh, huh? Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we're in trouble. And I don't know. Like I'm trying to be optimistic and say uh um trying to be optimistic and spread the good word, but geez, and then that happened yesterday, so that threw this whole Toksa Hour off. I'm like, man, I was all ready to talk about something else, and this ends up being our conversation today. We're stuck in Minnesota. Will we get out of Minnesota? I don't know. We'll have to watch. But so I was telling you I switched, so I'm not on TikTok anymore. Well, I still am, but I'm going to deactivate because I think I figured it out. So what you do is you um turn off your airplane or put it on airplane mode and then go to TikTok and then go to your profile. So that's going to get you past the terms of service agreement. You go to your account settings or whatever, and then you turn your airplane mode back on. And then you can go to deactivate. So I'm going to do that today. Try it out. I've been asking everybody everywhere else, like, how do I get out of that without, because I don't want them to keep me as a client or as a person, that they can say that that I'm still a part of TikTok. And I'm really sad about it because I just love TikTok. And then this happened. So then I thought about, one of my friends said, well, how do you get around it? I said, well, I know some people, some Mexicans or whatever that went down to Mexico and they bought a phone down there. They registered it down there or whatever. And then they just come back up to the United States and then they have TikTok from Mexico. And the same thing for Canada. You can go up to Canada, buy a phone up there, and then download TikTok up there and then come back. So then that would be your way of getting around it. But right now, I have no way of getting around it. So I'll just deactivate and life moves on, I guess, huh? I moved on from Facebook. So I've been a year? Yeah, a year away from Facebook. So I'm still living. Yeah, I'm still thriving. Um, you can Maggie Day, you email me at dokshahour@gmail.com, and I'm eventually going to change the email, but I'll let you know when that happens. And you give me your address, and I will send you one. Anyways, and I hope to get them out tomorrow or Tuesday. So that's the goal. Is I just got to figure out where I'm going to mail out from. So Steve, you'll have it, and we'll get to drink coffee together in our Toksa Hour cup. And then I just don't have Raymond. I don't know how to get it to Raymond. Have a bird fly it over. I don't know. They'll be trying to charge you a tariff or me a tariff or something. Yeah, be sending stuff overseas. Anyways, man, I could go on and on. I'm in a feisty, silly mood. Get myself in trouble when I'm like this. Shoot. Anyways, so hopefully, or we'll see. We might still be talking about Minnesota next week. We've been talking about Palestine for how many years now? And we'll continue talking about them too. This imperialism, colonialism, all of this is just like threading together forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Let me see. I was going to play you guys something, and what did I do with it? What did I do with it? Well, I'll see if I can find it, and then I'll save it for next week. Um, you guys, thank you for logging in. Tariff is Arabic. Hey, I even watched a thing on Usury. Oh my God, that's a whole nother show too. It's like, geez, It's crazy. I watched the whole thing about usury and where and how we come into bank usury and tax it, when you borrow money and interest and all of that. And so that was very, very, I mean, I got to be careful because I watch stuff and then I have to look for the propaganda in it. Is that propaganda-ish? I have to look at that and then try to find some other sources about the information to make sure that I'm not spewing propaganda because I don't like Israel. So try to present it with both side argument or whatever. But what I watched the other day was pretty interesting. So it got me thinking about it and looking into it. So yeah, that'll be another show. We'll talk about usury and how that comes to be. So all right, you guys. Thank you so much for logging in, for waiting for me. I know I was late because I had a bunch of struggle trying to log in. I logged in and then it went down, logged in again, went down. So, but this time it stayed, I hope. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Have a good week. The one thing that I can say in being positive and encouraging and loving is that we are still here, and it is through humanity or through Wodakota that we find each other, and we have love and compassion because we are relatives. And so look, if we can stay and continue looking at each other as relatives and helping, then we'll be able to get through this the best we can. And it really does need us to be together. Like we gotta put our differences aside and we need to work together. Like what do we need to do? So if they banished ICE, what does that mean? What does that mean we need to do? So does that mean we're going back to border patrol? What does it mean? And then how do we protect the border? How do we protect those lines? That's what we need to know. And that's what we need to think about because those guys, they have drones and they have everything else that they can come and just do us in because that's what that CIA agent said. Netanyahu don't care. Netanyahu don't care. Israel don't care. The Mossad don't care. They could be just after me and they could take out the whole community. And we watched that in Palestine after one person and they just took out a whole block. They don't care. They do it in Iran. They do it everywhere. They did it at the Twin Towers, remember? Israel did that. So they say. And I believe. So, all right. Get all started on part 2 of this.